exactly is going on and what I'm talking about. So as you can see, I'm gonna put this thing in first gear, put the shifter in first. That's first gear. So I'm just driving along and you're gonna see the shifter's in first and it's automatically gonna shift into second. It shifted into second at like 5,500 RPM. So that's what we're gonna fix today. You can see that's pretty lame. We can't be having that. I mean, we got a small motor here with some camshaft in it. And you know, this thing wants to go 7,200 RPM, 7,400. I can't be having this thing shifting at 5,500 by itself. I mean, that's just unacceptable. So we're gonna do this valve body mod. It entails, you know, the 1-2 piston, you have to modify it a little bit, and you have to grind 2 flats on the edge so fluid can get around it. And then there's a hole at the top of the valve body that you have to plug in the cylinder for the 1-2 piston. That should fix the problem. I already did a shift kit, didn't change anything, just made the shift harder at 5,500. That should solve the problem. Once I do this, I should be able to hold first gear until the rods hang out of it if I want to. So we'll see what this does.
Oh, yes, we do, not child. Stop messing around and keep things uptight. Oh, yeah, we got to realize that not.
All right, I got this thing draining. What the heck is that? As soon as I start recording. Alrighty. So I got this thing draining. I'll give it a second. It's way too hot. I literally just drove this thing 10 minutes ago. So I'll wait for it to cool off a little bit. I'll pull the pan off, get the valve body off. I'll show you guys all that, and we'll get working on this modification. All right, so I got the fluid almost completely drained out of it. Here's a tip for you. You know, I've done a few of these. I could just never can remember where all the check ball locations are and whatnot. So go ahead and do yourself a favor. Just print out the instructions for B&M shift kit, part number 20260. That way you'll know where all the check balls go when you're all done. Go ahead and get the rest of these valve body bolts out. And, you know, I just started thinking, I'm actually not going to have to deal with the check balls anyways because they're on the top of the separator plate. And I'm just trying to get the valve body off. I don't need to take the separator plate off or anything. I already did a shift kit on this thing. So, it's not going to be too bad. This is the last bolt. I'll have to hold the valve body up when I do this. And I gotta get the governor tubes to come down with it. That valve body is still extremely hot. No, this thing hasn't ran in like 30 minutes, but I might have to let it cool off a little bit more before I do this. Alright, I found a glove. This should hopefully give me enough of a boundary layer between that hot ass valve body. Get the last bolt out. Drop it in the drain pan because that's standard operating procedure. Try to get these governor tubes down. Got them. And then I'm going to get a bolt to hold that plate back up just to make sure we don't want the check balls moving location. I want to be careful we don't grab the gasket here. Just want to barely keep it up there. I say that'll do. I'm gonna take a look at this valve body and show you what we're doing. All right, got this thing cleaned up with some brake clean. First thing I'm gonna do is pull the governor tubes out of it. They just pull right out. All right, so I got this thing cleaned up, some brake clean. I pulled the governor tubes out already. Those are easy, you just pull them out. You can see I've already been in here. Took the spring out of the accumulator and stuff. This is what we're trying to take out right now. So I'm gonna have to push it in. As you can see, it's pretty easy to depress. And I'll get this roll pin out, and then I'll pull the whole assembly. Okay, that's the roll pin, came right out. Now, this might be spring loaded a little bit. Try to work it out. All right, so you have to push the piston this way through all these grooves, and it's a bit of a pain. Oh my gosh, see, there you go. Just lost it. You see I got this popping out pretty good now though. Might be able to push it from here. Yeah, there we go. You just gotta work it out. It's a pain. Once you get it far enough, I should be able to grab it with the plier. Yeah, that should be far enough for me to grab it. Trying not to put any burrs on this. Just grab it one good time, I guess. I don't know, we're learning together, guys. I ain't a transmission guy. All right, that's the first piece. There's a spring inside of it. See if I can get this piece. All right, I figured out the trick to getting that thing out. You just flip it up like this, and that piston, as you can see, I'll pull it out and show you. This thing is, it like wiggles in there, so you just gotta basically lift this up and just jiggle it back and forth. You don't have to pry it or nothing, and it just falls right out. All right, so here's all of the pieces and the way they came out. We're gonna wanna keep track of that. Really what we're modifying is this piece here, where you can see it's the largest diameter. You're gonna wanna grind 2 flats in that. I'm gonna go do that real quick on the bench. All right, I have ground 2 flats into it, as you can see. About a 1/2 inch long. This is just to allow fluid to bypass it. Cleaned off any burrs, because this does go in the cylinder. I want it to float freely in it. And now we're going to modify the top of the valve body itself. We have to plug a hole. So I'm going to try to look for a set screw or something. I probably should have thought this out before I pulled it all apart, because it's my only ride to the auto parts store or the hardware store. All right, so I looked around. All I could find is a 5/16 set screw. Really, I wanted a 1/4 inch. This is too big, but we're going to do it anyways. I got a 17/64 drill bit. I'm gonna drill this hole and I'm gonna tap it for 5/16. I'm gonna try to tap it real shallow. That way the set screw doesn't protrude into the bore. We'll see, wish me luck. Really, I needed a 1/4 inch, but this is all I could find. Saw that coming. All right, we'll blow this out real good. Make sure there's no burrs on the inside. Doesn't feel like it, but I'm gonna go through and use a round file just to be safe. All cleaned up. Make sure there's no burrs. Wish me luck. This is either gonna turn out okay or horrible. So we're gonna find out. All right, I can go a little bit deeper. Just want to make sure that the set screw is not going to protrude into the bore. All right, it seems like a good amount of purchase. Let me make sure it's okay. It's in fact not protruding into the bore, so I'm gonna send that. I'm gonna put some Loctite on it. Not sure if it's really gonna do anything for me, but just want to try to make sure it doesn't back its way out. Even if it does back out, I mean, it'll fall into the pan, and then I'll just be back to where I was. You know, it'll shift at 5,500 by itself again. But we're gonna try this, and I think this is gonna do the trick here. If you're gonna do this, I'd probably do this 1/4 inch. 5/16 is just too big. All right, got our set screw. We'll put some red Loctite on it, and we're gonna send her in there. All right, I'd say that's pretty tight, and it's not protruding into the bore like I said. So that's good. We're gonna call that good. Hopefully it actually is. And we can put together the 1-2 piston again. Remembering the way it came out. We had the piston first, the piece that we ground down, that goes in first, and the bigger diameter was out this way. So this is gonna go in first. Try to get it to fall in. Just gotta kind of wiggle it once you get it close. Sometimes if you go like this, it'll drop in too. Take the pick, wiggle it back and forth. Got to go a little bit farther, but let's see something if I can. There we go. Try to give it a little bit of encouragement. There we go. All right, so now we have the piston in. It's all the way up against the end here to where it can't go any farther. You don't got to force it in there, just make sure you get it in. Now this piece, I guess it's the valve, I'm gonna assume. You need to make sure it goes in like this, and this section here is for the roll pin to come through and grab, so it obviously has to go in like this, and this is trying to actively fall out, so this slides in like so. Something stops it short, as usual. All right, that's tighter than I like. I don't know what's going on. Let me pull it back out real quick. feel any high spots, but I'm gonna take a piece of emery cloth and just go like this with it, just to make sure there's no high spots stopping it. I don't feel anything catching my finger here, but we'll see what it is. All right, let's try this again. I actually just took a piece of Scotch-Brite and went around it. There's a couple of high spots. I figure that's probably what was stopping it, but we're gonna figure that out right now. And we're still getting to a tight spot. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, there we go. Just gotta wiggle it back and forth. All right, and that should, let me go a little bit farther. That should clear the roll pin. Go ahead and pop the roll pin back in. Go ahead and chuck this back up there and take it for a rip. Should be able to pull this thing to 7,000 RPM now. I put this shift selector back in. I had that out when I was drilling and tapping the valve body. I also went ahead and put the governor tubes back in. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, this one bolt I put in here to hold the plate up. It is it's just a pan bolt, Joe. It's a good little trick for you. I'm going to pull that out and I'm going to put the valve body back up there and making sure to align the shift selector piston, and should be smooth sailing from here, hopefully. Go ahead and get a valve body bolt ready. Start unscrewing this hand bolt really slowly. I don't want the check balls to move. Now this is going to be the trick here, is getting this all up together along with the governor tubes in. This could be a bit of a pain. And try to get those close to lined up. Stay. Running this center bolt in very slow, making sure that the governor tubes are going to go in where they're supposed to go. appear to be. It takes something to tap them. There they go. That might not be the right way to do it, but it works. All right, valve body's back up. Just gotta throw all the bolts back in it. I gotta put the detent spring on. And oh no. Remember what I was talking about? Making sure that you have this lined up. I didn't. I have to pull this all back down. What an idiot. Might be able to sneak it in. Okay. Get that in there. I was able to sneak it in, luckily. Alright. Now we got that in. Governor tubes seem happy. Go ahead and put the rest of the valve body bolts in. Alright, last thing to do, put your transmission filter back on. I went ahead and got a new one. There is a bolt that holds it in. Go ahead and just make this snug. You don't want to kill it. It's good right there. This video is brought to you by NK Performance and Racing. For all your performance needs, nkpracing.com. All right, all done. I'm gonna lower it down, put about 3 or 4 quarts in it, and we're gonna take it for a rip. Took exactly 4 quarts. Dry as a bone underneath. I don't see no leaks. I'm gonna go ahead and put it down and we're gonna take it for a rip. Alright, we're out cruising it. Still shifts as it should. Try to get up here on a open piece of road and rip it and see if it lets me hold first gear longer. Oh no, there's speed bumps. Well, this road ain't gonna work. Stand by. All right, let's see what we got. First gear. Oh yeah. That's a problem solved right there. right, we're in first gear. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. I want to give a huge shout out to Lonnie Dyers at Extreme Automatics. He's the one that told me how to do this. You know, I called him and told him, hey, this is what's happening. He said, oh yeah. He says, I don't care what you do to it. Unless you do this, it's not gonna let you hold first gear longer than what it's doing. So now I can hold first gear. I need to turn up the rev limiter. I forgot I only had it at 7,000. Probably gonna pull this thing to 74 or so. So next time you see this, you might have a tire on it and go to the racetrack.
Not just a little part, but all of your heart. Oh, yes, I do, child. 99 and a half just won't do. No, ain't gonna get it, no, no.
Alright, that's gonna wrap up this video. If you guys like this kind of stuff, you know, the techie showing you things kind of videos, leave a comment. If you don't, I don't blame you. It's probably pretty boring to watch. Like the video, subscribe if you want to. I don't care. Have a good day.